By now, you can't ignore the rising power of podcasting. And I want to talk about the 5 reasons why this matters for your professional personal brand. Grab your cup of tea and let's dive into it. I want you to picture this. There are 2 candidates and they're both alike in their achievements, their skills, and their work history, which they tout on their resume and their LinkedIn profile. What is going to differentiate one candidate from the other? Or picture a scenario where there are 2 service providers, maybe they're coaches, consultants, or designers, for example, who are vying for the same share of wallet for a potential customer. What's going to differentiate them? What if the secret wasn't actually in their skills and their work history necessarily, but in that X factor that they bring to their profession? What if it lay in the power of their podcast? So let's touch on the rise of podcasting. More and more listeners are starting to tune into podcasting. You have probably noticed this even in your own routine. Maybe you are engaging in podcasting more than ever. And creators are also continuing to flock to the space, and the incentive to do so is also increasing. It is said that in the next year, the revenue that creators are going to generate as a result of their podcast is going to reach $1 billion worldwide, and this represents a roughly 21% year-on-year increase. And the best thing about podcasting is that as a listener, it gives you access to some of the most brilliant people in the world, or everyday people that have value to share with you as well. So why can podcasting be so powerful when it comes to your own professional personal brand? Reason number 1 is that it shows the depth of your expertise. One of my favorite books, The Almanac of Naval Ravikant, talks about this idea of investing in either code or media. And for most of us who can't code, media is the more likely option. And this is where Naval Ravikant talks about investing in, say, blogs, in podcasts, in videos. Because the idea is that you are setting yourself up to be a problem solver. You're creating that leverage so that when someone has a problem, that you are the person that they can go to for that thing. You have established your expertise and your personal brand in the marketplace. He says, you are waiting for your moment when something emerges in the world. They need a skill set and you're uniquely qualified. You build your brand in the meantime on Twitter, on YouTube, and by giving away free work. You make a name for yourself and you take some risks in the process. When it is time to move on the opportunity, you can do so with leverage, the maximum leverage possible. Whether you have bite-sized episodes or elaborate long-form episodes as a part of your podcast, by contributing to your podcast week in and week out, you can show a depth and breadth of your expertise that simply wouldn't be possible on just your resume or your LinkedIn profile, maybe even your personal brand website or any bios. So you're really elevating that knowledge that you have to offer the marketplace. Reason number 2 for podcasting as a professional is building deeper relationships. The beauty of podcasting is that because there is long-form content, it means that people spend more time with you. They might tune in weekly, fortnightly, or monthly, depending on your podcast schedule. And this is more time than it would normally take for them to scroll past, say, just a social media post. It allows them to actually establish more of a relationship with you. Just think about any podcast that you listen to versus people that you only follow on social media. It's likely that you feel a stronger connection to podcasters than you do with the people that you simply follow on social media. When it comes to podcasting, keep in mind that your audience may never buy a product or service from you, but you are still building that relationship with them. You're still building your reputation in the marketplace. There is this idea in marketing called the awareness ladder, and it moves the consumer through different stages of awareness, beginning with not actually being aware of a particular problem at all. Then you might become aware of that problem. And you might become aware of the types of solutions that exist in the marketplace. That consumer might then become aware of your particular solution in the marketplace, and then you can help to move them along that decision-making process. By having an established personal brand in the marketplace, by having your podcast with all of that depth of your expertise ready to go, then you will be in a better position, as Naval Ravikant talks about, to have that leverage for when they are ready to make a decision, or when someone in their network is potentially ready to make a decision. But otherwise, if they never actually purchase from you, you're still building that relationship with people. You're still generously giving away value in the hopes that it might benefit other people. Reason number 3 to have a podcast is to project passion for your profession. You don't have to actually be a podcaster to have some general understanding of the level of effort that is required to have a podcast. There is the idea generation, there's the research, there's the planning, the scripting, the recording, the editing, the publishing. And by doing those things, you are showing that you are prepared to go above and beyond in your industry. So while your counterparts might be heading home at night and sitting on the couch watching Netflix, or going out to after work dinners and drinks, or fully enjoying a relaxing weekend, you're actually putting time into your podcast. And neither one of those is right or wrong, and it's really important that we relax and enjoy life as well. But by putting in effort into your podcast, you are showing that you are prepared to go above and beyond your 9 to 5. You're showing that commitment that you have to your industry. You're showing that you want to add that unique perspective that you have to offer the marketplace. Reason number 4 is to show your work and increase the value of your stock. This idea of showing your work is something that really resonated with me from Austin Keelong's book, Show Your Work. And one of the concepts that he talks about in the book is this idea of flow and stock. This was an economic principle that got translated into the media space. Flow represents the things like social media posts and updates and those little things that just continue to tell the marketplace that you exist. They have a place, but they're not quite the same as stock, because stock is the really durable stuff. Stock is the evergreen content. It's the long form content. It's the things that can last for months, maybe years, and it has that value that it is building up for your personal brand in the background. That's the really meaningful stuff. By having a podcast, you are contributing to that stock. You're building up that long-term value that you can create for your professional personal brand. Sometimes when it comes to your resume, your LinkedIn profile, maybe a personal brand website, or any other bios that you might have, is that it can often feel like you are telling and selling. Whereas when you have a podcast or something that does go into that extra level of effort, then you are actually also showing as well. You're showing that depth of your expertise. And I also remember reading somewhere that this is often like showing your work in your maths test in high school. You may not necessarily have always nailed the right answer, but you get points for showing your calculations. So while people might not necessarily agree with your perspective, they can see your clarity of thought in getting to that opinion. It is showing the arguments that you are making to be able to have that particular perspective. And you might also change that perspective over time as well. And having a podcast allows you to talk through those thoughts and to evolve your opinions in different directions as you start to accumulate more information. So reason number 5 is to supercharge your personal brand's SEO. Let's go back to our original example and consider the 2 candidates that are vying for the same dream job, or the 2 service providers that are fighting for the same client. One of them updates their profile with all of the right SEO words as a one-off strategy. One of them does all of those things, but then also is sharing a podcast week in and week out that aligns to those key topics, those keywords that they want their personal brand to be associated with. Which one do you think is going to perform better from an SEO perspective? Sometimes the right ranking is what's going to land you the job. If you want to learn more about why I think you are the new media, then check out my previous episode on this topic. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next episode.